Welcome to some One Piece action. If you're new to the channel, please give us a subscribe. And if you're a returning viewer and have not subscribed yet, please give us a subscribe. It definitely helps the channel grow. All right, so what you call it? There's a new player, right? The homie wanted help with some deck options. Essentially, they just felt stale, right? Like the game was getting stale for them. They wanted to play something different. They didn't want to commit to no blue purple Luffy or green purple Luffy or whatever. So they like blue leaders and just like, hey, try this Usopp deck. I was just like, yeah, no, this Usopp deck is very obnoxious. I think it's a good deck. So they been trying it out, playing it in the sim, and they passed us some content. So this is them trying out the deck and seeing how well they get acquainted with it. Our Usopp deck is not necessarily a traditional Usopp deck. The thing that makes it traditional would be the blocker system, right? Because it's very obnoxious and very effective. It allows you to draw and allows you to stall out the game. So you're really hard to take down. You're hard to defeat, and you're consistent. So your defense plays into your consistency by default. Pretty interesting, pretty cool. What we have changed that separates us from a traditional Usopp deck is how we handle our board removal and our board presence, right? So we have a lot of value in Zoro because his base takes out a 4-drop, and that's really high. We added some cost reduction, so that way it's we have videos, we have other gameplay videos on the deck list, but just in case you're new to this right now, adding some cost reduction makes Zoro very effective because his base is already high. You see the Gravity Tiger, pretty much a staple. Anyway, his base is very high, it's 4. So you add something that does -3. Well, guess what? Now that's 7. Add something that does -4. Well, guess what? That's 8, right? You look at Gravity Tiger. Gravity Tiger does the 6, and all. So when you add cost reduction to that, now you take out a 9. Now you take out a 10, right? Pretty cool. But just in case you don't have no cost reduction combos, because cost reduction requires 2 cards minimum, right? Cost reduction combos, I should say, requires 2 cards minimum. The card to reduce the cost and the card to capitalize on the cost reduction. So there is Red Rock. Red Rock would just say, get off the board. So the way this deck is constructed is to really have lovely control on board control and lovely defense. So your consistency is up. You got 2 searchers. You're drawing almost every turn. It's blockers galore, so your life total stays in a healthy state for a while. Hand size is very adequate, and yeah, whenever you need to take something off the board, you usually got what you need. So I was like, yeah, this deck is very obnoxious. This deck is very obnoxious. I think it's a really solid deck. We came up with a really solid build, and we were just like, hey, try this out, see how you like it, take it to your locals, see how you like it. So this is just, once again, this is some gameplay content they recorded for us as they're getting acquainted with the deck. If side note, if Rayleigh ends up being very effective, I think Rayleigh is a Blackbeard variant. I'll elaborate in a second. If Rayleigh becomes effective, Gravity Tiger becomes even more effective. So now, why am I looking at Rayleigh as like a Blackbeard variant? I think most of us would agree that Blackbeard was made to help balance the meta, to put a control, because on-play effects was causing too much damage to the meta of One Piece. So you come out with Blackbeard to do what he does, and he truly changed the climate. Right? He had a very strong impact. So with that being said, it just helped increase the diversity of leaders. And as weird as this game feels, where it's like the boogeyman is Luffy's, right? When you look at the top 8 and the top 16, there's so many different decks, mainly top 16, right? Because there's more deck options, right? In general, 16 out of 8, right? 16 is double. Anyway, You just see all these different varieties of decks, and I think one of the things that's happening in the One Piece meta is playing too strongly to the curve slash just relying on high drops. The game became high drop heavy, and it to me it almost felt brain dead in that ideology. It's like, okay, 10 drop shanks, 10 drop shank, 10 drop shank, Blackbeard, whatever 10 drop you got. If your deck can even have a 10 drop, you just putting 4 of them things and you just playing them back to back. It's like, come on now. So anyway, in my mind, if Rayleigh becomes effective, that would speed the game up. And if your game is relying on so many 10 drops, you're going to get outpaced. Because you could also look at what Belo Betty's doing in meta. What Belo Betty is doing in the meta. Blah, it felt weird. Just making sure I articulate it. I think because of how fast the deck is, it just allows her to have that such an impact, And so if Rayleigh's doing good, and then Belo Betty is just out in these streets doing what she does, and the pace of the meta just becomes quicker, and now people are more reliant on lower drops, and next thing you know, Zero comes back, and yada yada yada. Then Gravity Tiger is just going to be one of those top tier cards, because taking 2 off the board in one play is actually strong, especially if you delay your play, like you attack, making sure your opponent expends as much resources as they felt comfortable in order, trying to protect their board, not understanding that you just have a Gravity Tiger in your hand, unless you telegraph it. When you telegraph it, that's different. You start using Dawn, but you only use 3 Dawn. That's definitely gonna let them know that you got a Gravity Tiger. But yeah, so I think Rayleigh had a flash in the pan moment. I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe he had a quick flash in the pan. So it's like, okay, if that could become more consistent, and if he could show face more often, then that's what I would believe what would happen in the future of One Piece's meta. People would have to speed their decks up by adding, more 3 drops, 3 to 4 drops. Because keep in mind, 3 drops is what they were low-key afraid of, because it's 5. So it's like in other words, if you're at the 10 down state, in theory, you could play 3 drops, and then if your leader is an attacking leader, 3 drops, and then next turn have 4 attacks that you can do against your opponent. That is considered devastating, especially if you start Don-Xing those swings. Ugh, my God, very dangerous. But yeah, it's just that never became a thing, because people play towards the curve and people play for the high drops primarily. Like I said, I really felt like the game became high drop dependent. So that's my theory. Rayleigh is around to try to control that, to try to encourage people to play lower drops and speed up their decks. That's my theory. I'm surprised this Luffy didn't do slightly better. So I get that, completely phased out original starter deck Luffy is just moving that 1 Don is not that valuable anymore. But this guy moving 2 Don is pretty interesting in my opinion. So it's like, oh, nobody's found a way to really make him aggressive. Maybe Red just doesn't have enough for a mono leader without it having strong leader lock cards. Maybe that's just what it is. You can't just come out with a leader that just is, I wonder if people did I'm sure people did Revolutionary Army Luffy decks, with this Luffy leader. I'm sure they probably did it. But yeah, maybe at mono red is just because Shanks. Y'all know Shanks, right? I know Shanks. Some of those cards leader locked make Shanks effective. So that's probably what's gonna be. Red leaders can't. Mono leaders, let's just say mono leaders in general, probably aren't going to be too effective without some good leader locked cards. Rebecca, let's see if we find something. So we're going with board removal. Playing a removal immediately. Get rid of that blocker. How many cards have you removed? Gravity Tiger's 2. There's 2 Zoros. That's 4. A Red Rock. That's 5 by default. Just 5 cards. Look at our board state. I mean, our hand is pretty exhausted, I ain't gonna lie. But, you know, our board state is dangerous. Swing for 6. Give us a 2K or no? Another 2K? You got another 2K? Oh. Their hand is full of 2Ks. But they're running on fumes. No life cards, 1 blocker, 3 cards in hand. And now we got our blocker. We got 2 life, we got a blocker. No counter power. But you know. Well, they're thinking of something. Oh, they get a Roger play out on us. We can take. Luckily, we have the 2 life to be able to take. Too bad they couldn't do anything with that Nami. But even so, we got lucky with the Gravity Tiger. So we could have just... I said Gravity Tiger. Got lucky with the Red Rock trigger. So we could have just said, boop, no attack for you. But then again, they probably would have attacked in a different order, right? It would have been weaker to stronger. I wonder what that stage does. I completely forgot about its existence. I don't know, maybe I'll start working on that red Luffy deck. Oh yeah, feel free to leave a comment on what decks you'll want to see. I mean, technically, we have about, what, 10, give or take 10 decks already in beta. So, you know, give it some time and eventually you'll see different leaders pretty consistently. But yes, me personally, I'm still working on decks. There is a bunch of leaders in this game, so there's still decks that I'm working on, and I don't mind having more to work on. So yeah, just feel free to give me a leader that you want to see, and if we already have something, well, the benefit of that is we'll just prioritize it and get the content out quicker, you know. And if we don't, well, we'll just start working on it, because that's what I do. I enjoy deck building. So Robin is just obnoxious in general. You know, a leader that me personally always felt is underrated. But hey, I throw that word out there so much when it comes to One Piece. I mean, I just truly feel like there's a bunch of characters that are misrepresented, you know, just can't help it. But Robin is one of those leaders. It has built-in banish, you know, like, come on, you know, that's just very dangerous and obnoxious. You know, the fun part about Leo is that technically we can pluck the stage card just to trash the stage card. So if what's in your hand is just too vital, then that's what you can literally do, is just pick the stage card so you can just get rid of the stage card. Well, we have Rebecca, and Rebecca has the ability to just get back a piece. So whatever, we can afford to trash something and then play the Rebecca and get it back. Yeah, see, remember, I don't know if I said it before, but I'll say it. The Usopp deck is obnoxious. I said it in other videos, but not too sure if I said it earlier in this video. The Usopp deck is obnoxious. It's obnoxious. And side note, going back to the leaders, if the leader, even if the leader is being used in tournaments, but clearly isn't getting the results of a top tier leader, we'll work on those leaders too. We don't mind. In fact, that I'm actually tweaking a green yellow Yamato deck because I really felt like that one should have had a better impact. But I also feel like there's a playstyle issue in regards to that. I believe double attack is a comeback factor. And if used too soon and too aggressively, you just set your opponent up to really get what they need to dominate and control the game. But if you found a way to start utilizing your double attack in the later parts of the game where let's say the opponent's running on fumes and now you're double attacking, you're just good. You're just setting up for game next turn, like right then and there. There's like nothing they can do about it. Just swing, swing, swing. Oh, now you're down to 1 life. You're gonna lose next turn. What you're gonna do? Play your whole hand? Probably not, because Dawn is limited to 10. Anyway. But I get it. I do get that there are some like her own leader ability or cards that came out in support of her require your opponent to be at 3 or less life. So I am aware of that. But I just feel like people are way too aggressive in the early game with Yamato, and it just leads to them giving their opponent what they need to win. And I've seen it too consistently, like just way too often, where it's just like, yeah, I'll take the 2, and then now they're winning. Like it's just insane. So I think Yamato is part of a playstyle change, but with these new Yamato cards, I'm like, I actually have a whole different meta strategy for her. So I'm excited to work on that and then display it later. But anyway, back to here. Yeah, so you see how obnoxious this thing is, right? You see how flooded the board is. You see our ability to essentially keep drawing cards. This is ridiculous, I say. This is ridiculous. Yep, have a blocker on deck. Have another blocker. We can really just play more blockers. Now, Robin players tend to play some type of high drop, whether it's like 8-drop kid or whatever. So let's be mindful here. So we're going to put more pressure towards the game. Okay, I got you. Their hand must be in jeopardy for them to just play that card on a 7k swing. Too bad we don't have a Gravity Tiger. A Gravity Tiger would actually be cool. That's another thing. We could be attacking their board, right? Is it the stage that allows us to attack untapped creatures or characters, active characters? Or am I missing something? Or is it just being able to attack or maybe like the Luffy does it, right? He can attack active characters. But no, they got 2 blockers anyway, so like, that doesn't matter. Got you. So we just red rock the Kikunojo, so we don't have to worry about that. Especially since if KO'd, right? It's just gonna give them a new life card. So respectable play. Get some counter power, develop another blocker. So we got 2 active blockers, 2 life. They have to swing for 7 minimum just to threaten our Luffy. And once again, we got 2 blockers. Once we use one of those oh, okay, well, draw a card. So now we have counter power. Well, they can only swing for 7 one time. They swung for 6. We got the 2k counter, so let's just check that. I was gonna say, if we can get a board remover to get rid of that blocker, then that could have probably been the game. Oh, we're swinging for 6? No, 7. My bad. Oh, wow. That Onami trigger. Oh my god. Can we sneak this game? Keep in mind, no, the stage should allow our Zoro to attack their Robin, though, right? Yeah. Yeah. And you chucked for that. Okay. Oh, okay. So, because right now, low key, we might be able to. I was gonna say we might be able to restand our Luffy. That's why. Put 7 back, swing with that joint. So I thought we was gonna try to sneak the game. I thought we was gonna go for like life or whatever, but they had the counter power anyway. But we probably could we had no, it would have been risky. I was like, could we have like stacked the Dawn on Luffy? But it would have been what, 9? I think we had 2. So no, that's too risky. Yep. Yeah. Oh, there's the kid. 8-drop kid. Yeah, man. Oh my god. See, this Usopp is so obnoxious. And I'm not saying what people play in the meta is bad or whatever, but it's like, how is this leader not causing more problems? It's, oh no, you hate to see 2 red rocks go into the trash? You kind of hate to see that, huh? But yeah, I don't know. This is sheer obnoxious. No, move the red rocks up. No. Sometimes it is important. You got to keep that in mind, that the order, because the way this deck is, you're drawing so much. There's 2 search cards in the deck. Yeah, you can actually rotate through your deck. So, but hey, it's actually not too bad to have Rebecca on top. That's a double summon play, or technically a triple summon play. So you can make good things happen with Rebecca. But hey, look at Belo Betty. It's like, to be honest, not only Zoro is just an easy card to play and gain advantage with, but Belo has to get past our blockers. And there's what, that 1 card? Yeah, they use that 1 card to help get past blockers. Oh, there's that. Oh, there's also that guy. I can't remember his name, Suttenberg or something. Lindbergh gets to pop the blocker when he swings, so that could help. No, he used it. Okay, I would have just saved it and just took 2 off the board. Well, we're being very defensive for some reason. Because, I mean, keep in mind, we're going to develop blockers on the board which can block and let us draw. You know, so... Oh, but Belo is on the verge of just being burnt out already. 3 cards in hand. Mind you, Rebecca can get back anything, so I think the Zoro's more important. You could, yeah, because Zoro is popping damn near whatever they play. Decisions is tough. Yeah, so our ability to push the board with blockers is gonna slow Belo down, and then having access to Zoro is just gonna allow us to pop almost anything they develop. And of course, if we draw into another Gravity Tiger, that's gonna just be another piece of advantageousness. Oh, we have enough. And then that KO. Trigger summon? Okay. I think now they can afford to trigger summon. And they don't. Okay. Whether they had it or didn't, I don't know. Because mind you, most of the Revo cards, you got to discard a card to... That's a good play. But you're in jeopardy of losing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks next turn. 4. The more Dawn you tap sideways, the better it is for us. Also, the more cards you lose from your hand, the better it is for us. That's another thing. Okay, you managed to take a character off the board. We could afford to take that life. We're at 3. Like, there you go. Now, we have only 3 attacks, which means less of a chance of being able to seal the game. So maybe we should go for board, maybe? Okay, yeah. That might cause cards to come out of their hand. They probably should have took it to see if they catch a trigger or something, maybe. I don't know. But that might sound a little too reckless. Are we gonna like Dawn stack our Bartolomeo? Oh my god, that lets okay. So that does give us the game. Sometimes cards in hand is just valuable because the information that we don't have. Well, G. Thanks for watching, and please give us a sub. I think the deck performed pretty well for a first time pilot.